William Lawyer. Title: Can you retire in Mexico on Social Security alone? 2026 real numbers. Mérida vs. Mexico City. Keyword: Retire Mexico on Social Security alone. 2026 real numbers. Cost date: 2026. 8/12 duration. Mexico pillar. Finance status. $1,741. That's the average Social Security check in America right now. For most people, that number feels like a trap. Not enough to cover rent in Phoenix. Not enough for groceries in Miami. Definitely not enough to retire with any dignity. What if that $1,741, with nothing else coming in, is enough to retire comfortably in Mexico? Not scraping by. Comfortable. As in, eating at restaurants most nights, paying for private health insurance, and having cash left over at the end of the month. I'm going to show you the real line-by-line budgets for two cities, Mérida and Mexico City, so you can decide which one actually works for your check. Wow. All in wow. Here's exactly what this video covers. A full monthly budget for Mérida, the underrated gem in the Yucatán, and a full monthly budget for Mexico City's expat neighborhoods. Rent, food, healthcare, utilities, and the stuff nobody talks about, the surprise costs. By the end, you'll know which city you can actually afford on your check and which one stretches you too thin. No fluff. Real numbers. Let's go. First, let's calibrate. The average Social Security benefit in 2026 is $1,741 per month, adjusted upward by recent COLA increases. If you've checked SSA lately, that tracks. Here's the exchange rate reality. One US dollar buys roughly 17.5 Mexican pesos as of mid-26. Your $1,741 check becomes approximately 30,400 pesos per month. For context, a local Mexican worker in Mérida earns around 8,000 to 10,000 pesos per month. You're walking in with 3 times that. You're not slumming it. You're in the upper tier of local purchasing power. The key insight most people miss: you don't need to live like a local to live well in Mexico. You also don't need a full US salary to live like an expat. The math actually works, especially if you pick the right city. Mérida is the capital of Yucatán State, about 20 miles from the Gulf Coast. It's consistently ranked as one of Mexico's 3 safest large cities, with a real expat community and some of the lowest costs of any Mexican metro. Here's the actual monthly budget for a single retiree in Mérida in 2026. Rent, $575 a month. A furnished 1-bedroom in a nice neighborhood, Colonia Garcia Llaneras or Santiago, runs $500 to $650. You can go unfurnished for $350, but I'm building a realistic furnished budget. Groceries, $220 a month shopping at local markets like Mercado Lucas de Galvez. You're at $180 to $250 for one person. Fruits, vegetables, eggs, beans, chicken, all dramatically cheaper than us prices. Utilities, $130 a month. Electricity is the big one. Merida summers are brutal. You will run a sea kite. Summer bills hit $120 to $150. Winter drops to $60, averaging across the year $110. Water and gas at $20. Internet, $30 month, 200 Mbps. Fiber through Telmex or Total Play. That's it. Healthcare, $180 month. MS Mexico's public insurance offers voluntary enrollment for foreigners at around $500 a year, $42 a month for seniors. The access is real, but wait times can be long. Most expats pair basic MS with a private supplement. A catastrophic private plan from AXA or GNP for a 65-year-old runs $150 to $200 a month. That I'm budgeting $180. What expats actually use. Dining out $150 a month. Local casinos economicas serve full Yucatán plates for $3 to $5 USD. Eating lunch out every weekday and dinner 3 times a week fits in this budget easily. Transportation, $45 a month. Merida's bus system is about 40 cents per ride. Why? Uber exists and is cheap. Misk Coffee Entertainment, $100 a month. Mérida total, $1,430 a month. On the average $1,741 SS check, you have $311 left over every month. That's your buffer for travel, a medical copay, or a flight back to see family. Mérida works on Social Security alone. The math is clean. Mexico City is a different animal. 22 million people in the metro, world-class restaurants, museums, and culture. The expat neighborhoods, Roma Norte, Condesa, Polanco, are genuinely beautiful places to live. They're also significantly more expensive. Rent, $850 to $1,000. A furnished one-bedroom in Roma Norte or Condesa runs $1,000 to $14,026. The nomad boom of 2022-2023 permanently repriced those neighborhoods. If you go to Yucatán, quieter, very charming, still in the city, you're looking at $700 to $850. I'll run 2 scenarios. Roma Norte at $1,100 and Coyoacán at $850. Groceries, $300 a month. Mexico City has large supermarkets, Chedraui, Walmart, alongside local markets. Budget $300 for a comfortable load. Utilities, $80 a month. Here's where CDX has an edge on Mérida. You don't need AC. At 7,300 feet elevation, the climate is nearly perfect year-round. Electricity, water, gas combined, $80. Internet, $30 a month, same as Mérida. But healthcare, $175 a month, same private insurance math. But Mexico City has superior facilities, ABC Medical Center, Hospital Español, these rival U.S. hospitals. Budget, $175. Dining out, $250 a month. The street food is cheap. I get. But if you're in Roma Norte, you will be tempted by the actual restaurant scene. $250 is realistic without going overboard. Transportation, $60 a month. Metro is about 35 cents per ride. Don't Uber is cheap. You don't need a car. MISC $120 month. Mexico City total. Roma Norte $2,115 month. That's $374 over the average S check. Roma Norte on Social Security alone doesn't work without secondary income. Mexico City total. Coyoacán $1,865 month. That leaves $124 month buffer. Technically works, but there's no margin for anything unexpected. The bottom line on CDMX: if you have any additional income, a small pension, a spouse's check, $300 to $500 from consulting, Mexico City goes from tight to extraordinary. On S alone, it requires careful neighborhood selection and almost no financial cushion. Hang on a second. Here's what nobody tells you before you move. Healthcare in Mexico is genuinely good, especially in private hospitals, and dramatically cheaper than in the US. A specialist consultation, $40 to $80 USD. An MRI, $150 to $300. A dental crown with implant-level quality, $600 to $900 versus $2,500 to $4,000 in the US. Most us retirees pick one of three approaches. Option 1, IMSS only, $42 month. Routine care through the public system. Long waits, but it's real coverage. Option 2, private insurance, $150, $200 month. Full coverage, no waiting rooms, access to top hospitals. This is what most expats settle on. Option 3, out of pocket. Some retirees skip insurance entirely because individual costs are low enough to absorb. A realistic approach, only if you're healthy. The critical point: Medicare does not cover you outside the US. You're building a new healthcare system from scratch. But the Mexican system is affordable enough to make that manageable. Now, Mérida is the S-only play. $1,430 month leaves $311 in the black on the average check. You can live comfortably, eat well, maintain private health insurance, and still have breathing room. For a retiree whose income starts and ends with Social Security, Mérida is the financially correct answer. It's also the safety answer. Mérida ranks top 3 for safety in Mexico consistently. The pace is slower. The culture is rich. Yucatec Maya influences everywhere, and the expat community is large enough that isolation isn't a real concern. Mexico City is for retirees with more resources. On the average SS check alone, even Coyoacán gives you barely $124 of margin. Any unexpected expense blows the budget, but if you have a partner, a small pension, or any supplemental income, Mexico City becomes one of the most compelling retirement cities in the world. The culture, the food scene, the nightlife, the history, nothing in Latin America compares at this price point. One thing worth flagging on CDX: the altitude. At 7,300 feet, most people adjust in 2 to 3 weeks. But if you have heart or lung conditions, talk to your doctor before committing. Pensión. Mérida. Pros. Budget works cleanly on SS alone. $311 a month surplus. One of Mexico's safest large cities. Strong established expat community. Yucatecan cuisine is world-class and cheap. 20 miles from Gulf Beach. Chichen Itza day trip distance. Mérida cones heat. July and August hit 95, 100-degree F with humidity. AC is not optional. Smaller international airport. Connecting flights needed for many cities. Less arts and nightlife variety than CDX. Pace of life is slow, not for everyone. The South. Mexico City pros. World-class culture, food, and social scene. Outstanding private hospitals. ABC, Hospital Español. Enormous international airport. Direct flights almost everywhere. Climate is genuinely perfect year-round. Low 70s daily average. Huge active expat community with events. Mexico City cons. Expensive enough that SS alone barely works in desirable neighborhoods. Traffic is some of the worst in the world. Air quality has bad days, especially winter months. Petty crime in tourist areas, ice pockets, phone snatching. Here's my question for you. Where does your social security check land? Are you at the average $1,741 higher or lower? Drop your number in the comments or just tell me which city you're leaning toward, and I'll give you my honest take on whether the budget works for your situation. If this breakdown was useful, subscribe. We cover the real numbers for us retirees looking at Latin America, not the glossy brochure version, the actual one. And the next video is going to cover MS versus private health insurance in Mexico, which one retirees actually use, when each one is the right call, and the scenario where paying out of pocket actually wins. Make sure you catch that one. Quick recap. The average Social Security check of $1,741 covers a comfortable life in Mérida with $300 to spare. In Mexico City, you need to pick a budget neighborhood and keep your margins tight or bring supplemental income. Both cities are remarkable. The difference is how much cushion you need to feel secure. Next up, IMSS versus private insurance, the actual decision framework. See you there. I'm punchy. Word count 1:19:20. Speaking pace 150 WPM est runtime 12.8 min.